Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode 12 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Druid gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorvol, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So I don't think we have any admin notes for this week, so we'll jump right into a recap. And at the end of last episode, we had cleared out the toll house. We had gone through the encounter with the Zhentarim convoy, and we had made our way over to Waukeen's Rest, which is where we're going to begin our live stream today. However, I remembered that I should have been checking my journal entries because we did not finish up the encounter with the toll house, or the quest with the toll house. And what I mean by that is that we did not talk to the tiefling at the end to go over her request where we had killed the cultists inside the toll house. So we're going to start off by heading back a little bit to go talk to Karlach and kind of finish that out. Again, it doesn't really matter if we finish it out in early access. The quest isn't going to go anywhere after talking to Karlach, but it's something that we definitely want to show on the stream so that everyone can remember to do it. So when the full version of the game comes out, maybe that will continue on with another meeting for Karlach later on. So here we are. We are outside Waukeen's Rest at the waypoint. So what we're going to do is, again, Waukeen's Rest is up here in this location. We're going to head back to the toll house and finish out Karlach. She's got a quest marker over here, and I think it's just as fast to walk. If we took the Blighted Village waypoint, we'd still have to cross this bridge, which would put us here. So I think it's probably actually a little faster just to walk. So we're going to take a couple of minutes and head back that direction. Now we're going to walk around Waukeen's Rest this way. Again, just like last time, we don't want to get too close to the entrance and possibly trigger anything inside Waukeen's Rest. So let's just go ahead and walk ourselves around over here real quick, and we'll talk to Karlach. I knew at the end of last episode that I should have been checking a little closer to make sure that I completed everything, and off stream, when I did go back and look at it, I noticed that we hadn't finished this up. So it's something easy for us to get back here to do. All we have to do is walk down here toward the river, and we should be able to finish this up pretty easy. Okay, and just to look at our journal entry, here, we killed Anders, and Karlach will want to hear the good news. So it's got a reminder in here that you should talk to Karlach. Okay, so we're going to split our group. One thing we are going to do while we're here is cast Healing Word on her.
Thanks.
Okay.
Really,
and now we're going to go ahead and jump across. She's going to pick up her belongings, and now we can talk to her.
Did you get the bastards? For now, but thank you.
Her mind touches yours. Gratitude, warmth, and relief. Then a light, sharper than the truest blade, brighter than a star. It fills you with awe, forcing you to your knees. And from within, a winged figure steps forward, graceful and terrible. She places her hand on your cheek and smiles as she carves her name across your chest.
Kua ad vos non petrica. Zariel, fallen lady, defiled celestial, ruler of Avernus. I was her prisoner, and her champion. She tried to break me. The Paladins you killed were acting on her orders. She'll send more, and worse. Oh, I'm counting on it. I'll be ready for her. And the first step is to go home, to Baldur's Gate. I've got a score to settle. Politicians. The fuckers who sent me to hell in the first place. My advice? Stay away from the city. When I catch up with them, the streets will run red.
Okay, so after that, she'll pick up her backpack and take off. You saw that there was an option in there for us to betray her and take and kill her as well. So that's the thing about Baldur's Gate, is that you're never always locked in to one choice. You are always going to have other options available to you. Even if you've gone down one path, more than likely there's a way to change your mind right up until the end of it. It's just one of those things about the Baldur's Gate games that I've always enjoyed, is that the game normally will give you a few opportunities to say, basically, are you sure you want to do this? And even if you decide to do it, it gives you ways later on to change your mind or to go about fulfilling it in different ways. It's just one of those things, like I say, that's always been great about these games. Okay, so now we are ready to go into Waukeen's Rest here. And as I mentioned in the description, in previous patches, Waukeen's Rest has been one of the buggiest things in the game. The I guess explorations have always been a little bit buggy in certain areas, and more to the point, the environmental effects have been very buggy. Specifically, the fire that we've already seen here in Waukeen's Rest, how that fire acts, how it impacts the quest lines in here and that sort of stuff has always been very chancy. So before we go in there, this is going to be the only spot, just like I've done in previous playthroughs. This is going to be, well, not the only spot, because there is one other one that can bug out, but one of two spots normally where I violate my rule that I'm not going to save and restart if something goes wrong. In this case, I'm definitely going to drop a quick save here, just because I want to be able to restart from that quick save if the environment reacts in ways that are unexpected or not intended. So you'll see more of that as we start to go through this, but for now, the thing to know about Waukeen's Rest is that there are three main quest lines or interactions here inside the tavern area. First is kind of what we're seeing here, and that is the interactions with the Flaming Fists. You are meant to help them do something, and that something is somewhat time-based, in that you need to help them out very specifically. And see, here's another thing I'm talking about with the environment acting weird. This paladin over here is standing in fire, which might not have been intended to spread this far, and they just have to keep healing themselves, and they're probably going to end up dying. So things like that, they're just not intended to happen. So let's get in here, and let's go do the main
Someone needs help.
quest here. Okay, so they've changed this. So let's get Gale,
Can't give up
or actually myself. I'm going to see if we can cast Create Water here. And see if the flames spread back over there or not. Going to break my group, and I'm going to run over here. Okay, so she's now moved. Okay. So the Create Water spell allowed us to basically free her from this environmental effect. And it looks like they have adjusted some things here in this patch, because you no longer have the encounter where you're trying to break down the door. So let's go see if we can... We're going to take Lae'zel with us and see what happens as we move into here.
Cautious steps. Open that door, and we go up in flames.
And they're talking about this door, these doors here, and we will deal with that here in a second. Okay. So I don't see anybody in here. So they may have changed some of these quest lines in here simply because of, like I say, the buggy nature of what they used to be. But let's go back out here and have some interactions with the people out here.
Allow us peace in this plane and beyond. Teach us care when we would be reckless.
And we'll see what happened. So first let's go back here to the gate. And talk to Ephron.
Great God, help. He of the unsleeping eyes. Grant me the might to carry this burden. Grant me the faith to face darkness without fear. A massacre. Drow and goblins slaughtered the lot. Please, just leave me be.
Okay, so obviously not interested in talking. The body's marked as steel, so you don't want to interact with it. However, we do have some Drow raiders, which we can search. Okay, and now we can talk to Gauntlet Dane.
Teach us care when we would be reckless.
The tracks converge here. 2, maybe 3 drow. At least one of ours. From here they went... Damn! It's all so confused. What does it look like? I'm trying to sort out what happened here. But I can't piece together much thanks to the fire.
By all means. Doubt you'll have much luck, though.
Most of the tracks were destroyed by the flames.
Okay, so we might as well try an investigation roll here. These encounters are entirely different from the previous patch. So in other words, I'm playing them along for the first time just like you.
Telltale clumsiness of goblins, alongside something more light-footed. Drow. Your gaze follows the drow footprints around the courtyard and south, out of the inn.
Spot anything? That's something. But they could have gone south and then down towards the Underdark. We still have no idea where they took what they came for. Be easier if you weren't bothering me. You're in my way. Get moving.
Okay.
When we would be reckless.
So let's go ahead and recast Speak with the Dead on the raider here.
So it is spoken, and so is it done.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Zhentarim. From Sharmuth. Before the Absolute. Grand Duke. Absolute demands him. Take to Moonrise Towers. Archer, roof, should have seen.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
Okay, so that gave us a few more answers. You saw that we were, or that Ephron was, or Gauntlet Cain was unwilling to tell you exactly what they were after, but now you can kind of see that they were trying to capture somebody.
No magic left.
We don't necessarily know if they've done it or not, but let's do some more searching here,
Great God, helm.
and we can talk to Tristan.
Gods, look what they did to him. That could have been me. Barely. He was a new recruit, but he was a flaming fist. That made us better than brothers.
Okay, so we can search this goblin here quickly. We don't need the rotten chicken eggs, and we can recast Speak with the Dead on the goblin raider here. See if we can learn anything else.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Crook Hunter. Absolute wants him. Come, temple, close. Slaves, good, raid.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
Okay, so in that dialogue, you would learn about the goblin camp that is near. Now, obviously, we've gone through the goblin camp already, so we know what's there and what it's about, but this kind of shows you a little bit about the order in which the game expects you to progress through it, and how you can obviously bypass portions of it as well.
Great God, helm.
So
Allow us
let's
to
go over here
use
and
when
search
we
the
belong.
rest of these goblins, and then we'll move
Teach us
over to
care
this
when we would
side.
be reckless. Teach us certainty when we would have doubt. So it is spoken, and so is it done.
And let's recast Speak with the Dead on the Flaming Fist.
The corpse regards you lifelessly. The corpse remains silent. She doesn't know.
Gauntlet. Marilla. Flaming fist. Baldur's Gate. Dead or dying.
Okay. So we can actually search this flaming fist and take a little bit of gold. Now we have a shattered wine barrel here. We're going to be dealing with that another way. You can see we can't move it. We can't pick it up. Okay, so I think we've already searched this drow. No, we haven't. Okay. So let's go talk to Gauntlet Dane again.
Go away. It's hard enough reading these tracks without you stomping all over.
Okay, still quite unhelpful.
Teachers care when we would be.
Alright, so looks like one of the things that you can do inside here is either already done. I don't see any remnants of the door though anymore. Normally when you have to break through the door, there are broken pieces of the door down here. I don't see that.
So it is spoken, and so is it done.
So I'm not entirely sure if the quest line for getting the lightning charge items is going to be available to us. Normally that's only available when you've gone through helping them get in here and then helping to rescue the Flaming Fist commander. So we're going to go in here with Lae'zel real quick and see.
Great God, help.
We're going to explore the bottom. Because in here normally there's a lot of camp supplies. And yes, looks like there still is. Normally it used to be in here that the fire would spread while you were walking around in this room, and it would make it incredibly difficult. So it looks like it might be spreading again. So there is a roughly cut ham and some sausage. Okay, we do have some stuff here. See if she can grab it without getting caught on fire. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna have her move this barrel over here. And see if that will put the fire out. Looks like it did. Because there's a lot of camp supplies back here. Okay. And then we can continue on exploring here. Those were potatoes, right? Yep, not rotten potatoes. Okay, so here's what I mean by there being a lot of camp supplies here. And it's easiest just to click on the individual names instead of trying to zoom in and find them. So you pick them all up, they will stack with each other in your inventory, and then you can send them all to camp afterward. Okay, so we've picked up everything, so now we can search the burlap sacks. And there is a pouch over here. But there's nothing there. Okay, so now we're gonna head back out here into the main area. We do have some more camp supplies. Okay, and holding Alt periodically just to see what shows up. Okay. Alright, so we can make our way back into here, and again, some of these items you might not be able to reach. Holding Alt and just looking around and seeing what's in here. Okay, so now you get back here into this area, and again, you're going to become blinded when you get close to a burning area. So
I will take my pick.
Let's pick up some more camp supplies here. And let's bring Valin in here.
What path lies before me?
And this is really the only reason that I have create water. Okay, is just for the areas like this. Okay, so this is just going to allow us to get more camp supplies. There's not really an overwhelming need to do any of this. No, 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 no. It's trying to click on the floor above is what it was trying to do. Again, the pathing in this game and the camera work is still a little iffy sometimes, so be careful what you click on and where your camera is while you're doing it. See, just like there, the camera moved around and you may end up clicking somewhere that you don't intend. Okay, so we should just about be finishing up with this. So we'll make our way over here and we'll get to... and not cure wounds. Water, we can only cast it at level 2. No. Okay, and now we can go in here and pick up these camp supplies as well. And again, you don't have to do this. This is simply me being thorough and not leaving camp supplies behind. Especially when you saw the Barbarian playthrough. You can end up going to camp a lot more with certain playstyles and certain characters. And having the options available to you to go to camp as much as you want is something that can be really nice. So we're going to actually pick up this water. And because my lower strength, I can't move it nearly as far as Lae'zel could. Okay, and then we're going to attack it. Okay, and see, it doesn't put those flames out. So there are some flames in here that are non-quenchable flames. So even though these look burnt, there's no flame surface, so just moving your mouse over it can see. And then here's normally the door, which you have to open up. So we're going to go ahead and attack this door. Okay, well that's taking longer than expected, so we'll do it with a ranged attack. Okay, now you can move into this room, and normally there's someone from the Flaming Fist in this room that you have to break that door down to free them, to let them loose. There's not right now, and I'm not entirely sure why. I don't know if because we skipped past this area, but we got close enough to maybe load it, that it is basically now skipping that entire encounter. That may be what has happened. Like I say, not entirely sure. These quest line, like I say, this quest line is a little bit, or the quests in here can be a little bit strange. So, okay. So yeah, not entirely sure if we're going to be able to get the lightning charge items, but we do have a locked door here, and we're going to come in here with Astarion, so we can unlock that. Okay, over here. And we'll have him lockpick this door. It's got a DC of 18. So we're definitely going to add in guidance. We can still fail this with several rolls. But not with that roll. Okay, so now that it's open, we can do some more searching in here. Okay, and now we can move into this room. Now, what you saw with the shattered wine barrel, this is the inside of that room. From what you saw here. Now, you can break this wine barrel from the outside and get in the same area that way. So there are multiple ways to get in here. I just chose to work my way up to the second floor. Okay. So, moving around, all of this is covered with water. Or covered with fire, so we're going to turn it into water and we can search this bookcase. Okay. Now this surface is staying water, so these flames aren't spreading, which is kind of nice. It used to spread around a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna bring Lae'zel up here now.
Quickly then.
And as you can tell with me using all of my Druid spells here, I'm definitely going to take a long rest after this. Just to get my spell slots back. So I'm not too worried about using all of my spell slots. So, down here, you can jump down here with Lae'zel. Okay, and as you can see, you can grab it, but you can't move the shattered wine barrel anywhere. However, you can walk up to it and just attack it. And that breaks it, and now you can walk through that area and get in here. So, just another way to get in. So, we're gonna search some of the bodies here. And we can read this letter. Basically, looks like this is his wife or girlfriend or something of that sort of stuff. Taking this letter, again, is maybe one of those things that, since the Flaming Fist came from Baldur's Gate, maybe you can find this Rhea in Baldur's Gate and either have a completion or another quest or some sort of maybe a reward for letting her know what has happened to her boyfriend, husband, that sort of stuff. So don't overlook simple things like that. There's the possibility that in the full version of the game, those small interactions like picking up a handkerchief that used to belong to somebody, and then maybe you can give that back to, you know, the wife of the person who died as a memento. That sort of stuff is very typical for Baldur's Gate. So don't think that that those small things like that don't have any impact. They could very easily have a really big impact with them giving you rewards or magic items or that sort of stuff for letting them know word about what's happened. So for now, in early access, they don't have any use, but like I say, that doesn't mean in the full version they won't. So, and a bunch of camp supplies, which, like I say, we're going to use. Okay, so now we're going to head back in here, let her pathfind around the fire. Okay, and it looks like that's about it down here, so we can jump back up. And we're going to make our way back out here. So let's bring everybody here, and Gale will hopefully see him pathfind his way in here without stepping in the flames. Okay, so we did get around that. And we're again going to have Lae'zel picked up a... Let's get rid of those so that doesn't happen again. So with Lae'zel, we're going to spend a second here and send all of these camp supplies off. So you can see how many camp supplies that you're able to get from the tavern here. So it's pretty impressive. There's enough camp supplies here to let you rest quite a bit. And most of these are high value camp supplies. They're not just 1 or 2 camp supplies. They're 5, 6, 7 camp supplies. So they're all worth quite a bit. And that one just doesn't want to go to camp. So we'll just send these off real quick, and then we can get our sword back. Sending off all of these camp supplies here. Not many more. Okay, we do have some other items that we can send over to Gale as well that she was carrying for weight purposes. But we're going to end up having Gale sell all of these things, so can transfer them all over. And Salami will go to camp, and that gets her back to where she needs to be. There's nothing in particular here. Gale just has all the items that he's going to sell. And then we should have a bunch of camp supplies here as well. Whoops. That one I did see me click on it, so... This is something that I wish, and I haven't tried it in the new patch, but no, it looks like there isn't any way to mass send items to the camp. I was trying to control click and shift click there. It looks like shift clicking an item adds it to wares. But there is no control clicking or anything like that to automatically send something to camp, and there's nothing there that lets you shift click and select multiple items. So just one of those quality of life things I wish they had. So we can get Lae'zel now to... maybe we can't. She can't main hand attack the door for some reason. Okay, can you walk in here? No, you have to jump to get out here. So jumping out here looks like would just get us onto this balcony. Doesn't look like there's anything out here. But we'll explore it. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything out here, so we'll bring her back with everybody. And now we're going to deal with this. So, oh, okay. I think I know what's happened. Because he's burned to death in here already. Unless they just remove this quest entirely. So, let's group everybody up and head outside again. And we'll just click out here and see how well they do pathfinding their way out here. And we're going to see if this quest is even still in the game.
Great God Helm, allow us peace in this plane and beyond.
And we're going to do that by going in through this door here. Okay, so walking into here, we should have some goblins that we can search. And some other corpses and things like that.
No traps, please. Moving ahead.
Okay. So just holding Alt and looking around here. Now let's head upstairs. Okay, so this quest is still in the game. This is still Marileth.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Marileth, farmer.
Finding husband Benryn inside. Door locked, trapped, fire. Inside room sister in barn. From Eltergard, traveling, sister's wedding.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
Okay, so the fact that Merilith is here is leading me to suspect that when we passed by this area, we passed close enough for it to load these scenarios that were happening in here. Specifically the fire. And this is what I mean by this. This is kind of a shame. I wish it wasn't like this. But Waukeen's Rest is time-gated. And what I mean by that is that once things start, specifically the flames get loaded and start spreading,
Great God, Helm.
you're on a timer before things run out. So normally when you come in here, there's a group of Flaming Fist mercenaries trying to break in the door. You help them break in the door, you take the stairs up to the top level, you break into this room over here and you free their commander, and then their commander meets you outside and she lets you choose from one of 3 lightning charge weapons. There's a sickle, there's a trident, there's a quarterstaff, and there's a longbow. And doing damage with any of those weapons will generate lightning charges for your characters to use. It's one of the best ways in early access to get lightning charges to use on your character with armors that they may have and that sort of stuff. But because this thing loaded, the time limit has passed, and now all of the quest lines in here, well, 2 out of the 3 quest lines are now not doable. You just can't perform them. So you can't help free her, you can't get those lightning charge weapons, and it appears that Benryn, who's right here, is now burned to death. He's dead. So it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to rescue Benryn, have him confront the fact that his wife is dead, etc., etc. It doesn't look like any of that is going to work. So those 2 quest lines are completely done. So it may be one of those things where we prioritized going to the goblin camp this time. But the game, as you can see, really wants you to come here first and learn about the goblin raid that was staged out of the camp. So we're going to go back in here. We're going to head upstairs for one more thing. And we're going to stop everybody kind of here, and we're going to break the group and take Lae'zel with us. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is... Oh, we can't even do this. Yeah, so it looks like the gilded chest back here, the flames reached it, broke the gilded chest, and burnt up everything that was in it. So... yeah, missed out on a bunch of things. To look at these things, you can go to one of my previous playthroughs where we did Waukeen's Rest, and you can see them, but again, I'm not going to reload here. So let's take Lae'zel and kind of move her over here beside the door, and she's going to attack the door from here. You can see what happens. The flames start. There's normally a chest back here, and you can see the flames are starting to spread. See? They're starting to spread throughout this room, and normally you have a time limit to be able to reach Benryn and get him out of this room before the flames spread and completely engulf everything. You can use create water to douse some of these, but you cannot put them out. They will always come back. So, but yeah, Benryn's already dead. The chest normally is not in the flames, so you can take Lae'zel, and there's fire surfaces around here, but you can jump her into here, and I'm just trying to get a camera view where I can see her. So yeah, you can jump her there. You can jump her there. There's no flame surface. She's going, and you can do some searching, but you can then jump her back here into this corner. Normally you can. Yes, again, the camera view. You can jump her back here into this corner. You can physically pick up the chest. The chest weighs a lot. It's very, very heavy. So you need Lae'zel to do this, or, you know, your main character if you're high on strength. And then you can jump her back out the same way that you came in. And not have taken any fire damage. And then you can simply put the chest down over here in the corner or something and pick it and open it. We obviously, again, don't have that option here. And let me just show you kind of what happens.
On my way.
If you try and put out the flames. Because again, I don't care how many create water spells we're casting here. So we're going to cast it over everything inside this room. Okay. But, you see, it comes back. Okay. So, actually, there is a wooden chest back here. Oh, because it's got lesser toughness is why it hasn't been affected. But you can see the flames come back. Okay. And again, trying to get your camera right to jump into this room.
Proceeding.
Okay, and there's nothing in it. So. Okay. So. There is still a fire surface here. So now I'm going to take... Actually, I need Lae'zel to do it. I'm going to put her right up next to the door. And this door you can also attack. You don't want to be standing in front of the doors because that huge flame explosion will come out. And you will have a very bad day if you're standing in front of it. So I'm going to use my last spell here to create water, and you will see again what happens when you cast it in this room. So this is going to cover basically the entire room, and it's going to put all the flames out for a second, but then you see they come right back. Okay. So, it's not something that is a permanent solution to create water. Especially where Benryn is back here. You can see he's dead. It's just, the flames just come back. So, and you can see that they've slowly spread their way back over here onto the rug. And this rug here, you'll see it. It will completely... Flames will spread to it, and it will completely burn up again, just like it was previously. So, it looks like we're not going to be able to do any of these. Hey, Reinmar. Thanks for joining the stream. Can I recommend some wireless gaming mice? I actually don't use wireless mice. I haven't had very good luck with them due to input lag, especially in some games that I play, so I use wired mice. You can get some fairly expensive Corsair wireless mice. Some of their razors and that sort of stuff I hear are pretty good, but honestly, I don't use them myself. So, sorry, not able to help out on that one. So, out here, again, we have a flame surfer, or we have a flaming fist mercenary. This used to be entirely engulfed in flames out here, and looks like in this patch it's not. So, we should be able to just walk in here and search him. And now we can make our way back here without any trouble. There's a dead halfling here that's got a sweet key, which we will take. And how did Astarion take damage? Yeah, you probably will. Sorry, like I say, I don't use them, so I use them at work where input lag isn't normally a big deal, but when it's in gaming,
What's in here?
I tend to notice it quite a bit. So we're gonna go around the back here and just search these barrels. Okay, and we did find the dirt pile. Oh, what you can do also, Reinmeyer forgot, is do a search for wireless gaming mouse review or something like that inside of YouTube. And let some of the other content creators watch some of their videos about them. Like I say, that's something that I'm sure is very popular, especially in the gaming crowd, so having another content creator weigh in on it is, probably a really good idea. So, take a look and see what you can find. Okay, so we're going to split the group here. We're going to have Astarion cast Guidance here. And now we're going to walk into here and we're going to click on... Whoops. I meant for Rowland to try that. We're going to click on the haystack. Couldn't find it there. So now we'll have Astarion cast Guidance on Gale. And we'll bring Gale in here. Okay, and he found it.
Hidden in the hay.
So, yes, this is the dowry that we were led to this area from by Marilith upstairs from her corpse. So, alright, so
Time to press ahead.
Now you can see we've got a quest marker on our map. So we're going to, since we are going to take a long rest, I am going to go into a wild shape, and it doesn't really matter what I wild shape into. I'm just doing this for the speak with animals option that I get here. Now as you walk in here, you can talk to the frightened ox. Okay, so DC of 5 with our Druid roll.
You speak to me? The monsters only scream. I was ready to run you through. My mistake, friend. An attack. Monsters. Little ones and taller ones. They took the shiny one. He killed many. Yes, it was screaming. waving around its metal. I made him stop screaming. Him? He was the biggest. Now I'm the biggest.
Okay, so in the Speak with Animals talking to the Frightened Docs, you learn a little bit more, again, the lore here of what happened. And it looks like they did take somebody with them. Okay, so now we are going to cancel my wild shape. Okay, we're going to group everybody up.
Let's have a look.
We can do a little more searching outside here.
This is the spot Rugen marked. Doesn't look like much.
Okay, so you can see that this is, when we talked to Rugen, he told us to come to a tavern of some sort. And this is the spot, and you can see that there is somebody in here. And when you head in,
you spot a man crouching between the shelves, just as he spots you.
Bugger!
okay, this is the catchphrase that you learned. There are other ways to go through this encounter, but we're going to use the catch for the phrase.
Hell, dwarves! I thought you were flaming fist. Well, down you go then. They'll be on us soon, so if you're looking to trade, you best be quick. Entrance is hidden behind the wardrobe. Here's the key.
Okay. So, actually the passphrase, not the catchphrase. So we can do some more searching here on the way down. There's another shovel in case you don't have one. Okay, nothing else of importance. More things here. Okay, all fairly mundane items so far. Okay. Looks like these are mostly empty. Okay, we're just going to finish clicking on them real quick. Looking at the bottles. Okay, and then here, like you said, is the hatch to go down. Okay, so it puts you into this room here. And again, nothing in this particular area, but we can continue searching out here. Okay, so we do have some more camp supplies. Okay, so we'll just spend a little bit here to go through, search through these, and send off all these camp supplies. Okay, and now you have a ladder, which you can take that gets you down into this lower area here. Okay, so now here, we've got some more barrels. Some more crates that we can click on.
Looks empty.
Baskets we can search around back here. You may have to adjust your camera again.
Give it a shot. Looks empty.
Okay. Nothing. Okay. Coming into here, some more camp supplies. A wooden trunk that has some more in it. Okay, all of these are going to be useful to us. Okay, so you can't reach up there, so now we can make our way out here a little bit. Holding Alt. Nothing showing up, so we'll make our way down here. Okay. So we're going to make our way over here first. Search these crates. And this right here is why I just spent the last minute or so showing you me searching boxes. You are, especially with Baldur's Gate, this is just something, if you didn't play the first 2 games, you might not realize it, but seemingly unimportant things can very often hide important things for you to open up new quests or new magical items. There's an engraved key here that opens up our path going forward. Now, there are multiple ways to go about opening up that path going forward. But in this case, having that key is going to unlock something for us. So, whoops, this went to wares instead of the camp. So we've picked up the sweet key, a polished key engraved with the letters WR. We picked up an engraved key that was given to us by the NPC upstairs when we talked our way through that encounter. It's the outline of a flying dragon carved into the handle, held by a man in Waukeen's Rest. This is the same key. So if you didn't encounter Rugen, and you didn't learn the passphrase, and you came into this area and you got attacked by him, then he wouldn't give you the engraved key. You would have an option here, another way to get the engraved key. And without it, you can't get through this wardrobe. Oh boy, how's my long weekend? It's been busy. I've had a lot of stuff actually going on this weekend. Yes, tomorrow is Memorial Day here in the States. I have a busy day for tomorrow as a veteran and former member of the military. Memorial Day has a very special place as far as remembrance goes for us. It's not meant to be celebrating veterans like myself. We have a Veterans Day for that. This is for military members who gave their lives in service to their country. So I have a lot of things going tomorrow to help honor that memory, as I do every year. So I do get a day off from work, but I normally have that day filled up with other things. So, but yes, I do enjoy the extra day. So now, making your way into here, you got a quick save there, which is good. You can search these wooden barrels. And then, after you move a bit farther in, you're going to get an encounter. So, okay. So now we're going to make our way in here. And I think we can search the first couple.
That's
yes.
Far enough. What's your business down here? Answer honestly and maybe we'll kill you clean.
Hold on. That's the lass who saved us from the gnolls. Let her in.
You revealed our location. If that tongue gets any looser, Rugen, I'll cut it out. Come down then. Seems you're a friend of the family.
So that encounter there can go multiple different ways, depending upon how the encounter with Rugen played out. If you saved Rugen and you let him keep the shipment, then that's how it's going to play out. if you saved Rugen and then you convinced him to give you the chest, or you stole the item out of the chest when he wasn't looking, then Rugen won't be up here. He will be down here getting the crap beat out of him, and Ollie, his partner, will be down here already dead. And then this encounter goes differently. You have an opportunity to talk your way into this area, but it can get very hairy when you get to the back areas back here, because for some reason the game, either through a glitch or through it not carrying that peaceful encounter through, they can become hostile. The last one is if you killed Rugen to take it and fought your way through upstairs, then this is where the encounter will automatically become hostile. Okay. So in this playthrough, I chose to do it this way, but again, you have multiple options for how you want to do it. I'm going to cast Guidance, and I'm going to move Astarion in here, and he finds these plates. Now, these rocks cause traps to fall if that encounter did not go friendly. Okay, and there should be 2 more. Okay, so his perception failed there. And his perception failed there. So you don't have to find these now, because again, I have done this encounter in a friendly way, so these traps are disarmed. But if you're coming down here after fighting your way through, then you definitely want to make sure that you've found and disarmed these traps.
Never wanted the easy path.
Okay, and everybody's perception is failing. Like I say, these traps have a pretty high DC to find them. So we will send Gale down here to try, and again, I'm just illustrating where they are. I don't need to find them. But just to show you every option for those of you who chose to do this differently. Okay, so doesn't look like I could do it with Lae'zel, but
no one stopped me yet.
There doesn't really seem to be a whole lot of point.
No one back home will ever believe this. Wonder if the gods are watching me.
Okay, so we'll see if she finds it on her own without guidance as we just walk down here. If she doesn't, she doesn't, like I say. Yeah, failed. And failed again. Yeah, the perception checks on them are quite high. So this lever right here is what disarms those traps. Okay, so if you do something like Misty Step out of that area and make your way down here, you can flip this lever to disarm the traps. But for me, Garius disarmed them before I came down here. So we're gonna go talk to Garius here.
Hide and seek stuff. You don't want to keep Zaris waiting. Believe me.
Okay, and now we can talk to Bremen. I'm going to have, I think, Gale do this. Yes, Gale has our highest charisma.
But who are you? His muse.
Don't pretend you know what. Well, don't you cut a fine figure? Want your portrait done? If you have the gold, my pet artist will make you a most heroical likeness. Let's say we're his patrons, yeah? Found him wandering the wilds alone. He needs protection. And if his paintings cover our costs, so much the better, eh? Are you looking to buy him? I'm open to offers, mate. Threats? Not so much.
Okay, so we're going to come back to this. I guess we can try to make a persuasion check here. The DC's 20. Okay, that's obviously not going to work. Okay, I might as well use an inspiration here just once. Okay, still not nearly high enough.
I expect so. And whoever wants him had best bring a heap of coin.
Okay. So...
Well now, if we're talking, my guess is you've got coin to spend.
Okay, so let's trade first.
Fancy that? So do I.
Okay. Well, this is very interesting because he's got nothing. No. I wonder what's happened. Because normally Brem has some really, really good magical items. And now he's got nothing. So that's interesting. Ah, okay.
Friends of the Zen only.
Okay, good. That makes sense. I'm glad he explained it. Let's go up and talk to Xeris.
Light on my feet.
Okay. Whew. I thought something else had gone wrong.
There's no need for this. Free me now, and I'll see that my patron...
We'll wait for everybody to path their way up here again and see if anybody goes down the ladder again. Okay, no. So let's talk to Xeris.
I owe you one for saving my people. The Zhentarim look out for their own. Even if it's Rugen. That's worth some coin. And my thanks. Our trader can show you some of our more exotic items now. But don't delay. This place is likely to be rubble soon. Someone kidnapped a duke. Right on our bloody doorstep. The Flaming Fist will need someone to blame. I don't plan on it being us.
Okay, so that completes the Find the Missing Shipment quest. Which was here. So Xeris has now made us a friend. We picked up a quest, Free the Artist, when we were talking down there earlier. And this is just the Dragon Rider did pass over us heading north, so it added it to the Githyanki Warrior quest. So, here's Ollie. Like I say, he was at the encounter at the cave. If you've played it the other way, he's going to be dead on the ground down here. So let's make our way back down.
Gods, little brother. Read a bleeding book.
And we will have Gale talk to Brem. Actually, we'll wait until everybody gets down here.
Well now, if we're talking, my guess is you've got coin to spend. Of course. Got some interesting stock for a friend of the family.
Okay. So here's what I was looking for. So we have a lot of magical items in here, and we have some rare magical items as well. So some of these are fairly standard. The dagger +1, the scimitar +1. Fairly straightforward stuff here. The scimitar +1 is interesting because, again, you can use it. It's both light and finesse, so you can dual wield with it. So the thing about the scimitar is it gives you flourish and it gives you lacerate, which makes a target bleed. Whereas the short swords, they give you flourish, but they give you piercing strike, which inflicts gaping wounds, which again, is they do 2 piercing damage for 2 turns, whereas the scimitar with lacerate does bleed, which is 2 damage for 2 turns. This is a constitution save on lacerate, and it's a constitution save on piercing strike. So either one of these two, they're basically 6 in one, half dozen the other. It just matters in proficiency. So proficient, so here, this is a short sword, yes, and Astarian's weapon proficient. He is proficient with short swords. It's whether or not he's proficient with scimitars or not, which he is not. See, he's got, yeah, he would not be able to utilize that to get his proficiency unlocks. So the longbow +1 would be a straight upgrade for the longbow that Lae'zel is carrying. The halberd +1, the great axe +1, fairly standard heavy weapons that one has extra reach on the halberd. But again, fairly standard, just +1 weapons that we don't need. The giant breaker is very interesting. It's a rare heavy crossbow that has the heavy hitter trait. Now, heavy hitter, you can see your weapon hits hard enough to send your target reeling for 2 turns. I don't know if it's going to... Yes, there it talks about it. Reeling creatures have a -1 penalty to attack rolls for every turn remaining. So at the start, they're going to have a -2 to hit. Then the next turn, they're going to have a -1 to hit. So this is a great ranged weapon. You just need somebody who's proficient with heavy crossbows. The only person we have that's going to be proficient with that is going to be Lae'zel, but this would be a straight upgrade for her anyway. It takes 1152. We've got plenty of gold, so I'm going to go ahead and buy it. And now I can keep selling off some of these other items because he's got plenty of gold to use now. I can sell the rest of these off. Okay. So now this is going to go to Lae'zel. She can equip it straight away, and then that longbow is going to go back to Gale so that he can sell it. And again, I'm keeping these things for now. And now Gale can sell this longbow. So now we also have, we sold the robe of summer to him a little bit ago. We have studded leather +1. So studded leather is +1 is the highest armor class, well, tied for the highest armor class light armor that you can get. Spider silk is +12. That gives us, or is 12. That gives us a stealth +1 and advantage on our Constitution saving throws. So studded leather +1 would be an upgrade for him over this. However, he would lose stealth and he would lose his advantage on Constitution saving throws. So the studded leather armor +1, it upgrades his AC by 1, but he would lose the stealth and the Constitution saving throws advantage, which I think for Astarian are better. So we have medium armor proficiency on our Druid, so that would be a downgrade for her. Gale can't wear any armor, all he can wear is clothing, so the studded leather armor though can be really good if you have a main character that can only use light armor and you need it, because it is tied for the best in the game. And last is the Jolty Vest. The Jolty Vest is medium armor, so my Druid can wear it. However, the armor class is 13, compared to Scale Mail +1, which is 15. However, the main use of Jolty Vest is not because of the armor class. It's because whenever you take damage while having lightning charges, whoever attacked you needs to save a dex saving throw or they're going to become shocked. And shocked means that that target cannot take reaction and they have disadvantage on all ability checks and saving throws using dexterity. So things like when you cast Fireball and everybody gets a dexterity save against it, they would have disadvantage on that saving throw. So then they're more likely to take full damage because of it. So the Jolty Vest is interesting, but not something that I normally use. It's just because it's medium armor, it's just a downgrade over Scale Mail +1, which that 2 armor class is 10% better chance to not get hit when you're why do we have a tin plate here? While you're playing your character. So it's just too much to overlook, or too many penalties, too many downsides with this compared to other medium armors that you have. So if you have multiple characters that have longbow proficiency, like I do, however, I've got a light crossbow +1, which is 1d8 +3 for me. This would be the same, 1d8 +3. So the crossbows do 1d8 and 1d10, whereas the short bow does 1d6 and the longbow does 1d8. So if you have a crossbow, it's just better all around, especially if you don't have that proficiency. So I don't need the longbow +1, but it may be useful on your characters as you go. So I think that should be finished trading, but now we have the Free the Artist quest here, and we can talk to Oskar.
Zaris may have welcomed you, but I can see you're not one of her thugs. You need to buy me. Selling my... I am not some lower city coin lad offering you a tumble. I am an artist, and my patron will reward you for my rescue. Tenfold, whatever ransom you pay, I guarantee it. As far as you're concerned, she may as well be the coin maiden herself. But there will be time for questions later. Please, speak to Brem. I need to see the sun again.
Okay, so he really wants you to buy him. So let's go talk to Brem again.
Well now, if we're talking, my guess is you've got coin to spend. I doubt you've got that kind of dosh line about.
Okay, so we do have the same option, or we have options here, or we could just pay him. We do have 1,000 gold, but let's try a persuasion. So DC of 15. And we rolled a nat 20.
All right, so maybe I was fishing. No fooling you.
Okay, so now it's down to 600, so we'll just pay him for that.
He's all yours. Don't forget to feed him. He balls something proper.
Okay, we did get a couple of disapprovals there.
I can't say I've ever been bought before. How much did I fetch? No, don't tell me. There's nothing so depressing as learning one's true value. Well, you should at least know what you've paid for. I am the Oskar Fevras, at your service. A genuine pleasure. I'm in your debt, as is my patron. My betrothed, I should say. Assuming Lady Janeth still wishes to marry me after our little, falling out.
You recall a recent scandal. A patriarch of Baldur's Gate who wished to marry a commoner.
I did not run away. A date was never set. There were complications. Before my fame, my patron, there was Another woman. One I plan to spend my life with. But when Lady Janeth offered me a future, well, it felt only right to mention my past. Right, but unwise. I was forced to retreat into the countryside, to paint and to clear my head, to choose, I suppose. Indeed. One to split the very soul. But I dare not dwell on it any longer, lest I weep. And we have your reward to consider, once I have made my way safely back to the city. Say, I don't suppose you could spare some coin, could you? Ease the discomforts of the road some. I suppose I can endure the walk sober. Suffering has become an old friend, after all. Until Baldur's Gate, then.
Okay, so he's going to take off, and again, as I said, in the early access, there's nothing you can do there with that, but he is heading to Baldur's Gate, and at some point we're going to have access to Baldur's Gate, so maybe that quest will continue somewhere else, farther on down. So let's go back here and have some conversations with Baldur here.
You seem a nice soul. I'm glad we didn't have to kill you.
Okay. All of the stuff in here, for the most part, is going to be marked as steel. There are going to be a couple of things that are not marked as steel, but there's not going to be anything in them. So, but there is a lot to explore here, and we're going to start it off by heading up here. Okay, you have a couple of different ways to go. So if we come along this way, it's going to make our way back over here toward where Xeris is. And we can talk to Rugen again, just because we haven't done that since we got back.
Drink I promised will have to wait. We're moving out. The elf song's my local. Look me up if you're in the city.
Okay, so he lets us know that the Elf Song Tavern is where he's going to be.
Killed any more beasts out there?
Okay, so that will be possibly important later on in the full version of the game. So now up here is where you have some more items that are searchable and not marked as steel. Just be careful what you're clicking on as you go. Okay, and then here on the table, all of this stuff is also not marked as steel. And we have a couple of books. And now we can make our way over here. Okay, and you see that we have proximity explosives. Now, if these are red, they're armed. If they're blue, they're safe. So, you know that we're safe out here for now.
Nothing to see here. Move along.
Okay. So we can interact with Indra, but without speak with animals, you're not going to learn anything really. And then this takes you back over here, and I believe that there are some searchable items. No, it looks like everything's broken over here. So now we can head back over here. And we can talk with Jarg here.
Had a peach of a shot on you as you came in.
Okay, and again, Isbeth is the same way. Without speak with animals, you're not going to get anything. So, a couple of interesting things. First, you have a locked gate here. And inside here appears to be a treasure room. You've got an ornate chest. You've got some other things you can take. There's a painting in here worth a lot of gold. Okay. Then if you make your way down here, you've got another iron gate, which takes you into a room that has 2 wooden chests in it, as well as some other searchable items in here. And then you've also got a button here. This button is what arms all of these explosives. Okay, so don't go around randomly hitting buttons. You don't know what they do, because that one will start blowing things up. Now you see we have a quest marker over here. And that quest marker, we're going to actually split our group.
That wall's an illusion. Hiding what, I wonder?
Okay. So we've seen illusion walls before. Unfortunately, here you can't just walk into that room. That room is being guarded by Istor here, and Istor does not move. Istor stays there. So we're going to go over here and we're going to talk to Karad. And you can see there's a whole down area here.
Wouldn't linger down here if I were you. See all that smoke powder? The flaming fist won't find nothing here but rubble.
Okay, so they're planning to blow this area up. Okay. And you see there are multiple ways to navigate around here. You can climb down here, jump across here. When you climb down here, it can get you back into this area that has oil barrels and some other stuff to light things on fire. You can see that they've rigged this entire area down here with these oil barrels and that sort of stuff. And then there's this ladder that takes you back up here to the top where Varys and Rugen and Ollie are. So
Let's get going.
Reset my camera down here and we will make our way back over here. Now, inside of here, now if you go into this room, what's going to happen is everybody back here in this back area is going to become hostile. So Indra, Vol, Jarg, all 3 of the wolves, as well as Karad, everybody's going to become hostile. And you're going to have a fight on your hands. And what happens is when you go in here, you find a passage downward into something else. That passage is, or that there's a lift in there, and that lift is locked. Once you've unlocked it, then you can travel down to the Underdark. Now, there are multiple ways down into the Underdark, and that's why this thing is giving you a quest marker here, because you can go through the Underdark to get to the Tea House or the Path to Moonrise Towers. But it's just one of the multiple ways down into the Underdark. There are other ways to go down there. And so we don't have to get in a fight. And the only way to get into these 2 gated rooms is by getting into that same fight. Now, in this case, I'm not going to do those fights. You've seen me on previous playthroughs have that fight. So if you want to look at them, feel free to go back and look at the Ranger gameplay or the Barbarian gameplay, where we played this encounter entirely different. But for now, I'm going to leave them undisturbed. Okay. And with that, we are now done down here in the Zhentarim hideout. So we can make our way out. And in this case, we don't have to... Yeah, we do have to make our way out. Okay, so we're going to take the wooden ladder here and go back outside. Now, once we're outside here... Oh, yeah, we have to make our way back up here to this ladder. Once we're outside, we're going to take our long rest. Okay. Okay, because we definitely used all of our spell slots there. Gale has used one of his third and a level 2, so we're definitely gonna get these back. So let's go ahead and take a long rest. Okay, looks like Will has some things he wants to say, but let's talk to Lae'zel first.
Speak.
Okay, nothing new here.
Something's on my mind.
I was watching you at the Grove Gate. You spilled enough goblin blood to fill the Chiontha. Where'd you learn moves like that? You really blossomed out there. Took the battle by storm. It looked like a breeze. The Blade's not often keen on sharing his glory. But if he has to, better it be with a champ like you. Was a time I didn't amount to much. But then, a higher purpose called to me. Killed a few goblins, freed a few captives, and I was hooked. The only life I want is a hero's. Now, let's get some rest. I do my best goblin killing at sunup.
Okay, so we can
well met.
Talk to him again. We don't have anything else to go through there, so...
I suppose you want to hear about Cazador. My old master. Before the Mind Flayers took me from him. Before this strange, twisted freedom. Cazador Zar is a vampire lord in Baldur's Gate. The patriarch of his coven, and a monster obsessed with power. Not political power or military power, I mean power over people. The power to control them completely. He turned me nearly 200 years ago. I became his spawn, and he became my tormentor. He had me go out into Baldur's Gate to fetch him the most beautiful souls I could find. It was a fun little ritual of his. I'd bring them back, and he'd ask if I wanted to dine with him. And if I said yes, he'd serve me a dead, putrid rat. Of course, if I said no, he'd have me flayed. Hard to say which was worse. I will, but I won't take it for granted. The Mind Flayers aren't the only monsters out there. They're not even the only ones hunting us. All I'm asking is that you keep your eyes open and watch out for anything lurking in the shadows. What more could I ask? Now, is that all? It's simple. Just find a vampire that will drink your blood and turn you into a vampire spawn. Their obedient puppet. In theory, the next step is to drink their blood. Once you've done that, you're free and a true vampire. Free and a true vampire, capable of creating my own coven. Yes. Although, I'd settle for just killing the bastard. I wouldn't be a true vampire, but I'd be free of him. We can't. And yet I cross the threshold like moonlight through leaves. This worm is a powerful little beast, isn't it? What's not to enjoy? I can walk in sunlight, trespass upon any home, manipulate minds. I'm the most powerful vampire in the realms. Granted, the looming doom is an issue, but why not enjoy the benefits while we can? I've already apologized. What more do you want? Unless you're looking for another nibble. No innocence. You have my word. Only villains that we need to kill anyway. After all, you know what I am now. I can fight with all my weapons, teeth included. And if I happen to drain the occasional bandit during a fight, what's the harm? They're just as dead. As am I. I'm starting to feel a little peckish already. I won't lie. It's tempting. If I keep the tadpole, I risk transforming into a grotesque monster. If I lose the tadpole, Cazador has control of me, body and soul, and I return to the shadows. It's grim either way. So why not sell what's left of my soul to a devil? Better he has it than Cazador. I'm glad to hear it. Whatever's coming, we need to keep our options open. And clearly the tadpole. If we can't understand it, we'll never control it. And I'm not about to hand control of my life from a vampire lord to those slimy grey beasts. What's to tell? I was sired by a vampire named Cazador. Everything before that is so long ago it's ancient history. And everything that came after, well, I'd rather not reflect on it. I was attacked. A gang of vagrants, a tribe of wandering Gur, took issue with a ruling I'd made. They beat me to death's door when Cazador appeared. He chased them off and offered to save me, to give me eternal life. Given that my choices were eternal life or bleed to death on the street, I took him up on the offer. It was only afterwards I realized just how long eternity could be. Why do you insist on exhuming the past? I was a slave. A vampire spawn. Kept by the Tsar family. Perhaps I still am. I was never able to resist their commands. But now, I've been conveniently lost. They won't ever control me again. I was a magistrate, working to keep the peace in Baldur's Gate, imprisoning troublemakers, that kind of thing. I can't remember much, truth be told. Centuries of torment will do that to you.
Okay, so we learned a lot about Astarion and how he came to be in his role and what might happen in further along in Baldur's Gate.
What's on your mind?
Okay, so nothing new here. And last is Shadowheart.
Shah's blessings upon you. You already know my biggest secrets. What more can you ask? What, besides my life's calling and the greatest problem I've ever faced? Well, I like night orchids and can't swim. Is that the sort of thing you meant? It's nothing to laugh at. Save your questions if that's how you're going to react. No, I can't. Quite literally, I mean. With my memories suppressed, I can't betray Shah's secrets. But I can't remember much of myself either. If I manage to return to Baldur's Gate and fulfill Shah's mission, then my memories will be restored. Of course. It is an act of faith, not to be undertaken lightly. Shah will reward me when I succeed. That is not for you to know. Leave it at that. Fine. What's on your mind? I suppose some would commend our actions. Goblins would have razed that whole place to nothing if it weren't for us. No excuse to rest on our laurels, though. We've still got our own problems to contend with. I suppose we'd go our separate ways. Not a slight on your company, of course. Home. Baldur's Gate. There's someone waiting for me there. Someone I have to reach. As soon as possible. Thank you. And you're right. It's a delicate matter. Not something for light conversation.
So most of these conversations we've already had before, so nothing new there. So now we can talk to Volo here.
My friend, how do you fare? My research turned up a rather brilliant technique that seems quite actionable.
It's not too deep. Just behind the orbital socket. I could attempt an extraction. I've a needle in my tunic, after all.
Okay, so we went through this entire thing during our last playthrough just to show you what it does and how it works. So we're not going to go through it again here. But suffice to say, he's not any good at being a surgeon. So you shouldn't let him.
You won't find a more learned opinion on this matter, I assure you.
No thanks. Trust me, you end up losing your eye.
You only have a matter of days to live. Don't dally, my friend.
Okay. So let's go up here and see if Halson has anything to say.
Oakfather's blessings to you. I studied one up close. Closer than most would care to be to those things. A drow attacked me and I defended myself. Afterwards, I was able to examine the tadpole that emerged. Hideous, but fascinating. Like nothing else in nature, I'm glad to say. It's had the whole region around Moonrise Towers in a chokehold of darkness and despair for years now. Those who remained are shadow-cursed. If you don't die at their hands, then you become one of them. We have to get to Moonrise. But the less time we spend in its blighted surrounds, the better. Precious little. But I'm quite certain it can still be found. Aradin was convinced there was a hidden entrance in the Temple of Selûne. I'd start there. Those illithid creatures threaten the natural order. It's my duty to do what I can to stop them. There's also the Shadow Curse. It's an affront and must be cleansed. I helped overthrow Ketheric Thorm and his Dark Justiciars years ago, but I failed to prevent him from unleashing darkness across the region before he was defeated. If I can join you and get close to Moonrise, perhaps I can lift this curse, just as you find a cure for your infection. Well, there's hardly anyone left to share the responsibility with. Few who witnessed the fall of Moonrise still draw breath. What Ketheric Thorm unleashed is not something that nature can undo by itself. I must do what I can. I studied the Shadow Curse for years, but to truly understand it and stop it, I must reach its source. Precisely. Then perhaps I could have done something about both the Shadow Curse and Ceremorphosis aberrations. But in my eagerness, I put far too much faith in the abilities of Aradin and his band. We didn't even get close. Wonderfully. If I'm honest, the Grove was too comfortable for my tastes. I felt removed from nature. I'll miss my books, but I can find all the wisdom they contain out here, firsthand.
Okay. So we learned a lot about Halsin and why he wants to join us, as well as what we might be encountering in the full version of the game as well. So let's hop in here and let's grab our supplies. So 6, 12, 18, 24, plus another 12 is 36. So now we need, that's 39 and 40. Okay, so now we'll go take our rest.
Let's see what this does.
Oh, looks like we still had some items in here. Okay, so we'll make sure to put those away before we leave. Okay, so let's go through our inventory real quick. And, and I forgot to sell the poisons. And send these off to camp. We're also going to send off the 3 keys. We don't need those anymore, and Gale can carry these books to sell later on. Okay. So, now that we've finished Waukeen's Rest, we have the Githyanki Patrol, which is right near us. And you know what? I think that's what we are going to go do. So, we have an hour here left in the stream. So, let's head over to the Githyanki Patrol and take a shot at it. We're all level 5. So things are going to be a bit easier than they would be when we were at level 4. So what's going to happen here is that when you get close enough, Lae'zel is going to take off. She's going to leave to head down there. So now that we've taken our long rest, let's also take care of our preparations. Okay. And then we can change that back out. And everything else there seems okay. We don't have a corpse. Actually, we can do that. We can just backtrack just a little bit over to here. And we'll try and cast it, or we will cast it.
Great God, on allow us peace in this plane and beyond.
Something.
Teach us care when we would be reckless. Teach us certainty when we would have doubt. So it is.
The corpse remains silent.
Okay. So we have cast it, even though we didn't get anything out of it, and that leaves us with the recast ability. that's now shown up. So now let's head over here. And again, with Lae'zel in the party, what's going to happen is that she is going to go down to the bottom. Once we get close enough here, she's going to head out and leave our party. And that can be problematic, but we want to play this the right way, so to speak. So we're going to move down here and let Lae'zel take off.
Drop your weapons!
I'll feed your innards to the ants before I do that, Istik.
This is your last chance!
No, look up. That was your last chance, Istik. Now burn!
Stop wasting time, Beretta. You're not here to play with the locals.
Of course, Kithrak. We merely sought to...
No excuses. Question, kill, then move on. Find the weapon. Our queen watches us. Fail her at your peril.
A red dragon. I envy its knight. Would that I rode such a steed. A crash must be near. Come, my kin await.
Okay, so this is new.
The dragons serve Githyanki. I'll see it does you no harm. Follow me. We are close to the cure we seek.
Okay, so there she's headed off out here to join the rest of the Githyanki. And you can see she has left our party. Okay, so what we are now going to do is split our group here. And we're going to go down there with Astarion. The entire outcome of this, if you're playing this in a way that you want to see the cutscenes, the way to the entire thing hinges upon how well you roll on initiative. And we're not going to get any better chance to roll high than with Astarion. Okay? So we're going to keep our druid down here. We're going to take Gale and we're going to put him back up here
with haste
at the top.
Lae'zel was left behind. It doesn't feel right to abandon her.
And we're not. Don't worry. Okay. So we're going to keep Gale up here and just keep him out of combat for now. So we're going to put him into hiding. We're going to put Jorvalen into hiding as well. And now we're going to go down here with Astarion and see how well this goes. Now I'm going to save it because you can very easily get party wiped down here. So this is meant to be the gatekeeper, and one of the gatekeeper encounters that keeps you from heading out of Act 1 until you're strong enough to be able to pass it. The Goblin Camp and the Underdark are the other gatekeepers. You have to, the game wants to make sure that you're at a high enough level before you proceed out of this area so that you can withstand the dangers in the rest of the game. So we'll see how well this goes, but again, if there's a party wipe here, then there will end up being a reload because we just don't have a choice. So let's take Astarion down here and we'll start this cutscene.
Rider, my time is short. Lead me to...
Shh! Such a familiar tone. Were I not merciful, I would slice the skin clean from your meat. Yet you are not bleeding, for I am nothing if not merciful. Your name, child?
Lae'zel.
Lae'zel. Proud, regal, Eve. A Geich vessel has fallen from the sky, Lae'zel. Thieves aboard have taken a weapon most precious. Take word to your creche. You are to join our search. Speak up, child. Affirm your mandate.
Chuk. My mandate, honored Kithrak, is to locate this creche. I was infected aboard a Geich ship and need to be purified. Your mandate is to aid me.
Purified? Oh, Lae'zel. Why must the truth be so bitter? Soon your skin will go gray, and your blood will run silver. You will shed your skin to become Geich. Only in death are the infected cleansed. You will give me the weapon. Then you will bend your head for my sword.
Stand down, knight. I do not have what you seek.
Our queen's word binds me. Boretha, see her skull split and her corpse examined, on Vlaakith's command. I will take word to the others. Our quest has ended. To Danos, to the sky!
Okay, so we rolled bad. And Astarion is held, which is bad. Okay, so this is probably going to end up being a reload. Okay, because you can see what happened here.
Swords meet sorcery.
That's a party wipe. Okay, so yeah, you can see what happened. So they're incredibly powerful. They have multiple attacks that they can do, and they can all Misty Step all around the battlefield because they're Githyanki. So that jump from down here all the way up to there, that's a little fishy. Not entirely sure why they were able to do that, but there isn't going to be any way that I can win this from here. So there's just too much that has happened here. Now I had to get Gale to cast that fireball because with both of them, with Astarion and Lae'zel both knocked out, I had no way to get combat started. So there was no choice but to get involved in the combat. But during that time, Gale didn't roll very good on initiative either, so everybody's just dead. So we will play this out, but you can see how this fight is not meant to be fair. It just is not meant to be that way. So we're going to play this out, but like I say, again, I don't expect that we're going to be able to pass this with only us left here. So let's look at some of our options here. So I think what we're trying to do, undamaged. Gish here is got half hit points or so. I think what we're going to do here probably, because when I'm a single target, going into Wild Shape isn't going to save me. They're going to be able to take off all of those hit points in one go. So there's not a whole lot that's going to be able to do. What I need to be able to do is start thinning the numbers out. But that's going to be quite difficult by myself. So dashing takes an action, shove is a bonus action. And then they're going to be able to come right up here. It looks like Saretha is jumped up here. Right? Yes, that's Saretha. So she would be in range of being able to get to me here. So I think what we do is maybe this. Let's cast Spike Growth here.
Think you can take me on?
Okay. Now that is there, and they're going to have to cross it to get to me. Maybe I can Wild Shape here. Okay, and now end the turn and see what happens. Okay, so that removed the spike growth because he broke my concentration. So here's where it's going to end. Okay. So another question would be, how far am I... Whoops. Away. I'm quite a ways away from Gale for a healing word to reach him. And now if I move, I'm going to take an attack of opportunity from Baretha. So I can try and Thunder Wave here. Try and get both of these caught in it. And hopefully it knocks Baretha back. It did not. She made her saving throw. So not a whole lot of options here. 13 hit points. The only way I'm going to survive this is if I transform into Wild Shape again. But even then, I don't think I'm going to be able to survive it. Just because she can do so many attacks when she hits. So... Okay, so you can see how quickly that goes south. And it's entirely based upon that initiative. Entirely based on it. So if you do not roll high on that initiative, you cannot do this encounter, quote unquote, the right way, by going through the cutscenes and everything like that, without some serious damage or getting very lucky on your rolls. So the other way to do this is to not go through it the correct way, quote unquote, and to just start this combat off with Gale up here, throwing a fireball down there right on top of everybody. Okay? But I don't know how that works with Kudanos down here. You know, since we're reloading anyway, that might be an interesting thing just to show you guys and see. Let's see what happens if we just throw a fireball down there. What happens? Okay, so that's going to get everybody. Okay, so he just leaves. It skips the entire cutscene, and it gets right to him getting on the dragon and leaving. So now we should have initiative rolls. Okay, we don't have initiative rolls, but they have taken damage. Okay, so... Okay, so it does end up killing Lae'zel if you're not in combat when you cast something like Fireball. Okay, that's interesting that the pockets that he can create inside a Fireball don't work when you're not in combat, so... Should we be ever powerful enough to kill a dragon in this game? That's a very interesting question, Reinmar. It would be interesting to see what happens, or how far the level cap takes you inside of the full version of the game. I know that there are going to be... The thing that really prevents that from progressing, honestly, is the spells. Once you get higher levels, the spells that are available to your spellcasters become so dungeon master involved that you can't program a game to be able to accept them.
My time is short.
So we'll skip through all of this, and we'll see if we roll better on initiative this time. So you get to a point where the spells just would become useless and couldn't be in the game anymore. And then it starts to radically alter how the game progresses, so... Okay, so Lae'zel, if she survives this attack, is going to be up next. Okay, so she rolled well on initiative. She's still taken half of her hit points in damage. But now we have opportunities. With haste. Okay. So let's take Gale up here to the edge. And let's have him cast Fireball so that he doesn't hit... We can probably cast it so he doesn't hit Lae'zel anyway. Ooh, and we got some serious damage in there. So that worked out very well. Okay, and put him into combat. And now for our Druid, we're going to go in here and do the same thing that we had done previously.
Boots have seen everything.
So let's actually see. Well, we have one that's invisible right here. And I don't know which way she's facing. I don't know what her detection cone is showing. So if we cast Spike Growth here, then all of them are going to be in it. Okay. So now for Lae'zel here, we can still get to Bereth. Beretha is by far the most dangerous person here. So what we're going to do first is take a potion of speed. Okay. Now we're going to move over here within range, and we're going to try a menacing attack here, I think. Actually, we're going to try a pushing attack. Let's try and push her back farther into the spike growth. Okay. So that worked. So now we have another attack here. So if we move over here, we can try and skirt the outsides of this. Because we definitely want to take a potion of greater healing. There's no doubt there. And I shouldn't have done that pushing attack. I should have left her right where she was and concentrated all my attacks on her. Yep. I should have done that. So let's take some damage. Because Astarian's next. Who's going to get to attack next is Forseth. So if we get in there and do damage to her... Okay. So let's try a menacing attack here. Missed. We're going to try another one. Okay, now we're going to action surge. And we're going to try that again. Okay. So that killed her straight out. Now we do have one more action left. So we're going to jump. We can't jump. It won't let you do it without any movements. Any movement. Okay. So now Gale is going to be... Well, no, Astarian's going to be next. Okay. So now with Astarian, we definitely want to dash. And we're going to get him all the way over here.
Don't linger.
Hopefully get him out of the detection cones. And see if he can hide.
On the hunt.
He can. So who's next? The invisible one is next, and then Beretha after that. So a sneak attack ranged on Beretha. I'm not going to be able to kill her. There's only 24 here. There's 29 there. It's a much greater chance to kill this one here. So let's try and do a sneak attack ranged on the Raider Chost here. Okay, so 22. We didn't get a kill, but he's very, very close anyway. We couldn't have killed Beretta, and it wouldn't have stopped her from attacking Lae'zel. Lae'zel is probably going to go down here, and there's nothing we can do to prevent it. Okay, so she Misty stepped here. She's moving, hopefully not to push him off. Okay, so she moved up here to do a piercing shot. Okay, so she Misty stepped, went after Astarion. Okay, she missed twice out of her 4 attacks. Okay. So, Astarion is down, but that is not the end of things here, because we can cast Healing Word and get him back up. We would have to move to there to do it.
Best help before it gets worse.
But we definitely want him up. Because, again, we want to have him be able to disengage and move around and possibly get other sneak attacks in. Okay. So now here, Raider Zastri is up on high ground, and I don't have enough movement to get back there. So let's see what I want to do here. I think what I'm going to do is wild shape here. Oh, I don't have my bonus action because I used it for Healing Word. That's right. Yep, that makes sense. So, can I Thorn Whip? I can at a 55% chance, and that would pull her down here and possibly cause some fall damage. Or I could cast Flaming Sphere right up here next to Beretta. See if I can get this in a spot where it's going to work. Okay. And now that's going to end her turn. So that got rid of Spike Growth, but Spike Growth wasn't needed anymore, and getting rid of it allows Lae'zel to move. So we definitely want to get rid of as many people as we can here. So I think what we do is so she can Misty Step with a bonus action. So I think what we do is we move over here. We Pommel Strike here. Okay, that kills him. We use our second bonus action. Actually, she's only got 15 hit points left. So she can still get over here. What I'd like to do, though, is Misty Step over here. Actually, we can probably just Misty Step right up here. This would be better, I think. Because I think I can kill Beretta without using Lae'zel to do it. Okay, so we're going to move right here and just... She's got all of her superiority die back. Okay. So let's just do a lacerate here. That ends her. Okay, now she has an action left, but she's not going to be within range of Beretta. But we can move her down here, and she can take a piercing shot. Low percentage chance to hit. Okay. And now Gale.
They burn.
Okay. So she's got 29 hit points left. We'll cast it at level 3. That gives me 5 projectiles. Okay. And that's enough for him. And now the Flaming Sphere gets a chance. Or the Flaming Sphere stays there. Sorry, it took it's rolled its initiative here later on. So now I can disengage. Okay, which means I can move around out of the way.
Time to move.
I'm going to move as far out as I can get. I'm going to go into hiding because she's facing the wrong way. Okay. And now I can wait and see what she does on her attack. Okay, she casts Second Wind. She casts Jump. And she just moved. That's all she did. Okay. So this fight's now over. Beretta just doesn't know it yet. So Call Lightning is again a concentration spell. So I can move, I can try and move up and use Thunder Wave. Doesn't really matter if this hits or not. Let's actually move here and cast it back this way. And I might as well upcast this. Okay. And that ends that.
Shaketh, I have followed protocol. He does not speak for Vlaakith. This weapon must be powerful for a Kithrak to betray his own queen's children. He lies. I have devoted my life to my queen. I will be her chosen. It is my due. Search the bodies. We might find a way to the crash. And beware the skies. We are watched.
Okay, so we got an inspiration back for that. Okay, and we also did pick up some other things in our quest journal here. So first, they weren't very cooperative is an understatement. We still don't know where the creche is. We need to find it. We did free Oskar. He left for Baldur's Gate. Who knows, maybe we'll see him there. And the fact that this is continuing, it's not completed, means that it's going to be continued in the full version of the game. So we defeated the patrol, but we don't know where the creche is. We need to search them to see if we can find a clue. And we learned all of this stuff about Astarion and his past. So let's go ahead and do some searching here. So I guess first we can see Jorvalen won't be able to cast it on Bereth because she killed Beretta, so that's not going to work. So speak with the dead. I mean, you can see the corpse is not to its killer,
but not to its killer.
So we can go over here and cast it on Yule, though.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Seeking path. Baldur's Gate. fellow scout, Druid's Grove. Yes, sorrow fled, left me to fight. Prison Road, cross wooden bridge.
The spell's power ends. You can ask no more questions.
Okay, well, we learned some stuff there, but unfortunately the way across is this wooden bridge, which is now no longer here. Oh, and I forgot, Raider Chost has been knocked out. He's not been killed. So let's go over here and take care of that. We'll move Gale down here.
Never a dull moment.
Oh, you can speak to him when he's knocked out. This ought to be interesting.
Thoroughly unconscious. They are unlikely to awaken.
Okay, so you can search him. Okay, and we'll just take a look at these crossbows and some of the other weapons. So we're actually going to finish him off. Okay, and we can group everybody back up again. So let's continue looking around here. And these are all just things that Gale will be able to sell off at some point. Okay, and we'll pick this up. And we'll look at our inventory and go through all of these things as soon as we're done. Okay, so that's Gale's now going to be overburdened. So Elixir of Hill Giant Strength, we'll take the Potion of Invisibility. We'll take the Great Sword. This will go to Lae'zel, and we'll pick up the Elaborate Slate.
The Githyanki slate. Give it here. Tirsu markings. Could this be?
Magical energy courses through the slate, then to Lae'zel. Your own body buzzes in resonance. A diagram glows before you. Its meaning is beyond your comprehension.
It is a map. Zorru did not lie. A creche lies beyond the mountain pass. Hurry forth. Purification is at hand.
Okay, so we failed our Arcana check there to learn more about it, but we did learn that it's past the mountain creche, so you can see that there's the mountain path. So here's the path to the Githyanki creche up here. So let's break our group and go loot the raider here. Should be able to loot it from up here. Yep. So poisons, we don't need any more poisons. Githyanki crossbow, and again, we'll look at all that sort of stuff here in our inventory here in a second.
Should mind my step.
Okay. And I think that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. That's it. So, group everybody up and let's take a look through. Actually, I don't know if we searched fuel, did we? Okay, yeah, we did. Okay, so let's take a look through our inventory here real quick. And we can look at some of the items that we picked up. So the first are the Githyanki weapons. You have a longsword, you have the great sword, and you have the crossbow. So these have changed since the previous patches, in that they all used to have Psychic Vengeance on them. They no longer all have Psychic Vengeance. So a couple of things to look at. First, you picked up multiple Githyanki half-plates. Githyanki half-plate is tied for the highest armor class medium armor in the game at 15 with scale mail +1. Both of them have disadvantage on stealth rolls, so there's no disadvantage to wearing one over the other. However, just from a role-playing perspective, I'm just going to leave the Githyanki half-plate on Lae'zel and not change my scale mail +1 out on Jorvalen, even though I could. But if you have gotten to a point where you don't have enough scale mail +1s for all of your party members who need it or who can use it, then feel free to equip them the Githyanki half-plate. And like I say, it's some of the best armor in the game. So the other things we picked up, like I say, were the weapons. So looking at the longswords, it's just longswords +1. Now, longswords +1 offer a 1d10 slashing. It's versatile, so if you put it in your offhand, it's 1d8 +1 slashing. So I don't think I have longsword. Oh, I do have proficiency in longswords. So that is going to allow me to no longer carry the Vision of the Absolute. I can now carry a Githyanki longsword and use it with my shield here. Okay. So, and then just use the Vision of the Absolute if necessary against targets with multiple sets of eyes, or if I really want to blind targets. Next is a Githyanki, or I guess the Githyanki crossbow. It's a +1 light crossbow. So you can see or a +1 heavy crossbow, I mean. Is that right? Yes. So looking at, I've got a +1 light crossbow. That's 1d8 +4 for me. If I change this out, it's going to be 1d10 +4. So it's a straight upgrade for me to use. Now, I believe we have another one here. Yes, we do, in our inventory. And where did Astarian's longbow go? Oh, well, it doesn't matter because we have another one of these that's a straight upgrade. Oh, no, that's a heavy crossbow. Right, that's why. It's a heavy crossbow. So just like this one, you need people who have the martial capabilities to be able to use the unlocks on it. So I am not proficient in any of those. Astarian is not proficient in either of those, so I wonder where his longbow went. That's interesting. So what it means, if you don't have proficiency, okay, it represents whether you're trained in the weapon or not. It provides a bonus to your hit rolls and that sort of stuff to make sure that you're going to succeed with it. It also unlocks these abilities if you're proficient with the weapon. Since I'm not proficient with them, and I'm not proficient on Jorvalen with light crossbows either, which I completely forgot about. I've been having the +1 light crossbow there because I thought it was a simple weapon, but it is not. It is not a simple weapon. Or actually it is, it's just things are now different here. Yeah, because see, light crossbow she's proficient with. So you're not automatically proficient with all of your simple weapons. So Lae'zel is proficient with light crossbows. Astarian is proficient with light crossbows, but nothing else. So what I need to do is put this light crossbow +1 on Astarian, who's proficient with it. And he's able to use the unlock of piercing shot on it. So the two heavy crossbows are basically heavy crossbows +1. So the giant breaker is 1d10 +2 if we change to Lae'zel. It's 1d10 +2. If we changed it to these, it's 1d10 +3. Because it's got a +1 weapon enchantment on it. However, the downside is I would lose heavy hitter. And having reeling available, which, like you saw earlier, has minuses to attack rolls can be pretty useful for her to have. So I think we're gonna leave those kind of where they are. We'll end up selling them. She's not going to get a use for them. And then the Githyanki Greatsword is a regular greatsword. It's not +1 or anything like that, whereas so it's the same 2d6 +4 as what she's using with the Everburn blade. This has a psychic vengeance, so whenever you're have 50% of your hit points or less, you're going to deal an additional 1d4 psychic damage. So it's not constantly dealing 1d4 psychic damage, only when you were at 50% of your hit points or less. Compared to the Everburn blade, which deals that 1d4 fire damage all the time. So again, not an upgrade, but if you didn't get the Everburn blade off of the Nautiloid, then the Githyanki Greatsword is a great option for any of your fighters. It's a regular greatsword, but it has the bonus of when you're less than 50% of your hit points, you're going to do a lot more damage, or you're going to do 1d4 extra damage, which I am right now. So using the Githyanki Greatsword I'd be doing the additional damage. So, but that's all the things that we picked up through that encounter. So now we're kind of at the point to lick our wounds and kind of see where we're at. And again, used several spells. Gale's used up all of his 3rd level spells with the 2 fireballs that he cast. So we want to take another long rest just to get everything back. That encounter is not easy. It is not meant to be easy as the gatekeeper for the rest of things. But let's talk to Lae'zel real quick and see if she has anything to say.
Quickly.
Okay, she does not. So now we do have something from Astarion that he wants to say.
Looking at something. I'm looking too, but not seeing very much. Another quirk of my affliction. Preening in the looking glass? Petty vanity? Of course I miss it. I've never even seen this face. Not since it grew fangs and my eyes turned red. I don't know. I can't remember. My face is just some dark shape in my past. Another thing I've lost. What? I want to know what the world sees when it looks at me. What you see. Oh. Go on. Very good. Now just tell me I'm beautiful and we can call it a day. How dare you? I thought we had something special. Still, you're nice too. I better get some beauty sleep. It seems I need it if I'm to catch up with the competition.
So another opportunity to advance a personal relationship with Astarion, it looks like. So again, let's head back here and check our traveler's chest and pick out enough to sleep the night. So 3, 9, 15, 21, 27, 33, 39, and 40.
Cursed to put my hands on everything.
Okay, now that we're back, We'll do our standard preparations here.
The corpse responds.
Okay, and that should be good. Alright, now you see we have a quest marker. So first of all, let's head out this way. There is no way for us to get across this gap. This area of the Risen Road is blocked off to us, and we are not able to go that way. Let's walk around this side and open up the map. Just because there were some unexplored areas. Okay. And now you can see we have a quest marker here. So the pathway to the Githyanki Creche is across this bridge.
Grim-looking horizon.
Okay, and you can see Mountain Pass. It's the same thing as all the other ways to exit Act 1. It's not available yet in early access. Okay, so that's another way to get to continuing on with the main quest lines. So let's take a look at our map here and see, actually let's look at our journal as well. So we learned where the creche is located, but we can't get to it. So get Auntie Ethel's help. This quest isn't going to complete because we didn't either kill her or ask her to cure us and find out we can't. So this indicates that there might be some future encounter with her in Baldur's Gate, maybe. Reach Moonrise Towers. It says that we can continue via the Underdark, which we will certainly be going to. Finding the Night Song is in some kind of temple underneath the Goblin Camp, which also leads us into the Underdark. We already talked about Free the Artist. Finish the Masterwork Weapon. We need some bark from a Susser Tree, which is in the Underdark. And then what to do with the tome here. And I think we can probably deal with that here. And then, again, we discovered the location of the creche. Let's actually look in Gale's inventory here and see... Because Gale has not been given the options.
More interesting times.
What's on your mind?
Okay, he has not been given the options to need to take in a magical item yet. So we can, I think we want to hold on to that until he needs it. So now looking at our quest markers, we have a path to Moonrise Towers that's in the tea house, and that's because there's another way into the Underdark from there, which we're not going to use. We have a quest marker here for the Githyanki Creche, which we cannot advance to. And then inside the Goblin Camp, there is going to be another quest marker for it, but yes, here for the Goblin Camp. So that's how we're going to enter the Underdark, is through the Goblin Camp. So, but before we do that, let's head back to Waukeen's Rest.
Great God, Helm.
And
This plane and beyond.
see if we can
When we would be reckless.
sell off any of this stuff. See if they are still here or not,
And so is it done.
so that we can sell off some of these items. Actually, we don't need to do that. We can just go to Zhentarim Hideout because we unlocked this already.
Better not be cursed.
Okay. So we'll go down here. We'll talk to Brem again. And we'll sell off this new set of items.
Something I can help you with? Of course. Got some interesting stock for a friend of the family.
Okay, so he has 600 gold pieces to work with here. So let's just sell off as much of this as we can. That would use all of his gold. So let's see what he has. We have a longbow +1. And since I'm an elf, I believe I have proficiency in longbows. So I'm going to take that longbow +1 for my druid to use. And now we will move these all over to Gale. And now Gale needs to sell off all those poisons as well. Don't forget that. And now these are worth 500 gold apiece. Okay, so very, very worthwhile to pick them up. Okay, and then this is going to go over here. And now I can get her a ranged attack. So now everybody should have a ranged attack of some sort. So he's not proficient with light crossbows either. This must have been a change in the patch, because I know in the past everyone was always proficient with all simple weapons. But that must not be the case anymore. So okay, so he's just got some studded leather armor left, but that's it. And there's nothing else I think that we want to buy. No, there's not. So I think that's going to be it. Just taking one last look. Yes. So we will leave that armor and Gale to sell later. And now we are going to head back to the Goblin camp. And we will get set up for our trip into the Underdark, which is going to be our next main section of the questing that we're going to do, because everything else in the overworld here, it has been completed. There's nothing else that we can do. So we'll just head back down to Priestess Gut's room. And you can see that we have the quest markers in here. This is what leads you back outside to the tea house, which then takes you over to, which has a way into the Underdark, and this is what takes us to the Underdark. So okay. So actually not here. I passed it. It's over there. My fault. It's up here. Okay, so we need to go in here through the door, and we're not attacking the Zhentarim in here. Even though we could, we're not going to. We're going to leave the Zhentarim alone. And we're going to go through the ornate door here. And this takes us back into the defiled temple where we were. And now we specifically did not explore this, because we knew that this is the way that we were going to go to get into the Underdark. Okay. So now, the clues that you read in the books and you saw on the various walls, the symbols, exploring around this area lead you to this room. Okay.
What's that?
Okay, so looks like we do have some other things that we can pick up here. So Gale's going to pick that up to sell it.
Looking ahead. Looks like all those moon plates can be turned.
Okay, so they can be turned. You can click on them and turn them.
Very well.
We're not going to yet, because you can see that the quest marker is inside this area up here, behind this wall. You just can't open that wall yet. Okay. Opening that wall is based upon this puzzle that is here on the floor. And that is where we are going to save. And we are going to start off our next stream going through this puzzle and completing it and showing how to progress into the Underdark through the defiled temple down here. There's a reason that we want to enter it from this way and not one of the other two ways, like I say, that I know to get down there. But we'll explore that as we get into next stream. So again, I'd like to thank everyone for joining me today. Without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying, until next time, fare thee well.